Well, hey there! Well, as you can see in front of me, we're going to be talking about another suitcase. So we're going back into the travel department, and this time we're actually talking about right here in the center. This is the Lojel Voja, or Voja? I think it's Voja. So, yeah, let's tear into this guy. Okay, so I was going to start getting things I moved out of the way, but if you've watched videos in the past, I've done a couple videos on some Lojel suitcases. This is my groove frame. I've had this guy for years from Lojel. I bought this myself. I bought one for my wife, and I also have a two groove zipper, one for each of my kid. I bought this originally, really loved it, bought my wife's, and then within a couple more months we bought the two zippered models because they were a little bit cheaper, and you know, it's for kids, so they tend to be a little bit rougher on their stuff. But that said, I love this suitcase, and it's an aluminum framed model. No zipper. The only zippers in here are going to be the internal compartment stuff. Love this guy. Now, if you've watched recently, I did a review on the Cubo, which is Lojel's newer zippered model, and there's a lot of things I love about this, actually, that I didn't think I was going to love as much. But the downside to this, personally, I'm not as big or keen on zippered model suitcases. So even watching the review of this, you probably understand that I do like more of a briefcase style typically. But this one's so different because this is not a traditional zippered model. This is what they call a Cubo, or basically a big, gigantic tub with a zipper on the front that you just basically open up to get into the gigantic tub. It doesn't split in two. So this is really unique, and I like a lot. I like a lot of things that this has to offer. However, when I originally reached out to Lojel about doing a video on one of their New Year's suitcases, I actually was more interested in doing the Voja, yeah. This is another briefcase style. It is not aluminum framed like my other guy that I have down here, but it also didn't have that cost associated that guy did have. This one starts at $200 for the small carry-on model. They do have a medium and a large as well. It's like $230, $260. Not an expensive suitcase, which right on the gate, that's awesome. If you can get into a good suitcase for a reasonable price, that's fantastic. Those cheap suitcases that are around that $100, $150 ones, I have never had good luck with them. They always break really fast. So I stepped up into the Lojel, and I've been happy ever since, actually. So this is the Voja, and the Voja is, like I said, a briefcase-style suitcase. Now, first of all, I am showing you the carry-on model. This is the smallest of the models. I only purchase carry-on suitcases. That's me personally. I'm not saying anything about you guys that pack a little bit heavier. It keeps me packing too heavy. I like to pack and travel light as I can possibly travel. So I have a carry-on and I have a personal item backpack, and that is all that goes with me. If I can't fit it in there, I don't allow it to go. Now, I don't like checking my bags at the airport. I like to keep everything with me. I don't want to go to the baggage carousel if I don't have to. So I'm coming from a lot of things, right? That said, I have just recently got back from a trip that I used this on, and this got beat pretty good. It was not on an airline, so this did not go into that, but it was put into a work vehicle. And it spent several days in the back of my work vehicle and got tossed around actually quite a bit with all the stuff that I have back there. A lot of stuff fell on this. A lot of stuff happened to this in the back of my vehicle. But that said, there's a lot of things I like about this suitcase. There are going to be some things that I don't like about this suitcase. And I'm coming from, well, as you just saw, I have the older groove frame that Lojel offered back then. They don't make this anymore, which is similar but way different in how it actually operates. And I've had other suitcases other than Lojel, so, but this is mainly kind of going with that Lojel line. So let's bring it in, let's talk about it, and let's just go from there. So the first thing you might see about this, obviously, is the color. This is what they call terracotta color. They offer this suitcase in 6 different colors. Let's see if I can get this right. It's like a seaweed green. It's kind of like a teal bluish green. They have a black. They have what I think they call yolk yellow, which is similar to the mustard yellow that this guy comes in, but it is slightly different. They have, I think, what's called an ink blue. It's a little bit different blue. And then they have a gray. It's literally gray. So they do offer a nice wide array of colors. I love that. I like bright colors, so I actually asked them specifically for the terracotta color, mainly because I already had the yellow one over here, and I didn't want to have 2 yellow ones sit next to each other to compare, right? So I went with the terracotta. It's a little more brownish orange than I typically like. I usually like the brighter oranges, but that said, this is terracotta. If you want to go around, we can see we have the hinge back here. The hinge is actually part of the actual suitcase, so it's fused in with each half, and then just you know, basically a pin that goes down the center. Back here we have our serial number. We have our actual handle. It does have multiple. Yeah, I'm gonna do it like this. Multiple heights that you can place it at, and that's all the way out. And it is very comfortable and very good. It's the same basically handle that the Cubo has, but it's definitely upgraded from my older groove frame that I have. So that was one of my big things that I didn't like about my groove frame, is the handle. And I went through this when I did the Cubo, but this handle, a little sloppy in its play. So even if I have it all the way out, just has a lot of slop and play to it. The newer handle that Lojel has is a little bit nicer, a little bit wider, and not as much play in it. A little bit of play, of course, like anything that's telescoping, it has a little bit of play, but not as much play as it used to. And then we have the front here. We have just our simple Lojel logo here. On the bottom first, we have dual wheel casters, all 4 of them. They are fantastic. And then this is actually one of the latches. There actually are 3 latches that hold this guy together when you're traveling with it. So like I said, this is a briefcase style. It does not have zippers on the seam. It has latches. On the one side here, you can see this is the other latch. This is the main latch. This also has the 3-digit key combination that you can set to whatever combination you desire. We do have another handle right here, and they are soft close handles, which are nice. And then on the top, we have the matching latch that is on the other side. Now these also lock, so even once you close them, you can actually push that down like that. I don't know if you can see that, but there is a little lock and unlock. So if you have it locked, which should be down, right? Yep, so there's a little red button there. Once it's locked, I can't unlatch it. So while it's not key coded, it does keep it from opening up on you, even if you don't use the combination on the one side. So you have to have all 3 of them unlocked before you can actually open the suitcase. So let's show you what that looks like. So first, on the small ones, you just basically lift on it and then pull away, right? It actually kind of holds itself away to the point where it's not going to latch on it. So lift, and then on the front, there's a kind of a release button right there. You can kind of see that. So we just lift on that and out, so it kind of comes out like so. And so let me do that right there. Just kind of pops out, and now we're unlatched, so we can actually open it up. And like any or most suitcases, I should say, on the market, we have a lower half that has just a simple buckle strap, right? It just straps together, and then you can tighten. It's all one piece, so you don't have to worry about you know, the other side of the strap just laying around or getting caught as it sticks out the front. It's all sewn together, so you just put it, strap it, and then you just pull on the one side, and then it's just kind of looped there, right? There is this fabric here. If something happened where you needed to get to the back, there is actually like a service access zipper, but it's a backward zipper, so you have to get into that. That said, on both sides, on both this side and on the hinge side, there is a small zippered compartment that you could put maybe small things, paperwork, or pens, pencils, or small things that you don't want floating around, right? Or you don't have a place for them. I typically don't use these because I usually have components that actually house everything. So I kind of stack everything in here, but everybody travels differently, and they give you those options. If you tend not to use them, they're not really in the way. They're out of the way. So that's going to be, like I said, on the hinge side as well, like basically identical one there. And then on the top up here, we have our, what I typically use as my clothing compartment. It's a zippered compartment. So the big zipper here opens it up, and then we do have a small zipper right here that actually has kind of a small component here. So right now I have some tags from some pants I bought. Look at that. And more tags. And from there, we can get into the main zippered compartment up here that literally is the second half of the suitcase. So I typically use, if I get to a hotel, while I'm traveling, I'll have my stuff up here, and then as I use it, depending on what I'm in, like this last trip, I was in a hotel for 3 nights, and then another hotel for another night. I took after those 3 nights, I took all my dirty clothes and actually put them up in here and zip all my dirty clothes separate from my main clothes. So the other thing about this is that you may notice that there is a rubber gasket seal. So when I do close this, it actually does seal. I'm not going to tell you that it's waterproof, but it is water resistant and definitely keeps dust and stuff from penetrating into here. You also might notice that there is a lip. So you can see outside of that black seal, there is a plastic lip. Now this is where I've come into a little bit of some issues with this. I actually placed a few extra items in here on my way home, and so I was technically a little overpacked into the suitcase, but it made it easier to get out of the hotel room back down to my vehicle. And so kind of when I was closing this, if this tub starts to kind of bend apart or bend in a little bit, you got to make sure that these terracotta colored plastic nest inside of, well, you can kind of see in the frame, there's actually a groove right in here that those basically go into. So you got to just make sure that they go into where they need to go before you start latching. So that was one thing. That was the first time I actually went to close it that I was like, oh, okay. And then once I realized that, it wasn't a problem since, because after I got done with my second hotel room and I was closing everything back up, I didn't have the issue. And it was an issue that took literally 10 seconds before I realized that, okay, I got to make sure that this doesn't deform while I'm closing it. So a little bit different than my groove in that regard. My groove didn't have this. Also, I will say that this stays latched a lot better though too. So you got a 3-point system: one on the top, one on the bottom, and then one on the front here. And so you can close them in any order. I typically tend to close the front one, which is the main one, first, and then these are kind of your secondary holders, right? So this guy has the most of the holding power, and this one also has, like I said, the TSA lock. So they do have the TSA, but they also have the combination. And there are little, I don't know, dials, I guess, underneath here is how you actually change the number. And so if you want to set it, maybe we'll go into that here in a minute. Setting is pretty simple as well. So I just, right now I have it set at the standard 000. I had it set for my own combination on my trip, but that is, I put it back to 000. So, that is that. It does have 4 feet, if you can see right here. So when you rest it on its side, it rests nice and even, and so it doesn't topple over on you. Then of course if you have it on vertical, it's going to be on the casters. And one thing about these casters, these are the exact same casters that they use on the Cubo, or at least they feel like it. They do have a little bit different design on them. They roll extremely well, and so I don't have a whole lot of bad things to say about how the suitcase operates. My biggest pet peeve would be, and maybe the best way is to show you side by side with the other guy. So what I really like about this bag is also one of the things that I don't like as much about this bag. And that is the opening. What do you call it? Oh, did I lock that one? I did. The latches versus this one's more briefcase style. And so this guy, which actually has some more stuff left in yet, this one has just basically 2 little teeth right here that go down. These briefcase style latches literally just have a pin that just go through the hole here. Which, I'll be honest, if you overfill this suitcase, it feels like it wants to burst open. It almost feels like these latches are going to break. But I do love how easy this is to close and open. The thing I least like about this is the 3-point system, which also makes it that much more secure. So it's kind of like one of those, I don't like it quite as nice as this. This is easy to open and close, right? Quick, easy. This is keyed, which is a pain in the butt, I'll be honest about it. Because keeping track of the keys, if you go through TSA, you can't have anything in your pockets. So you're jamming everything in your bag. Keys, you can't go through security with in your pocket. You have to put them in something. So this is a keyed suitcase. This is a combo suitcase. I can understand why they only do combos now, because keys are a pain. I dislike them. And I thought that was going to be one of the things I really liked about this suitcase. So the Voja, having that 3-point system is a little more of a pain in the butt, I guess, because you're doing something on the top, on this, and one on each side. Just more things to mess around with. But like I said, the benefit about this is that if I overpack this thing, it's going to feel like it's bulging, but because I have 3 points of contact on 3 different sides of the suitcase, it does not feel like it's about to burst open on me when I'm traveling through the airport. Now, I've never had this burst open, neither has my wife. And my wife has packed hers up, I think, way more than I have ever packed this one. Where we were sitting on the suitcase to try to get this thing to close. And then once you get it closed, you let go of it, and it feels like it's just gonna crack open and just hemorrhage everything. Has never done it. So if I say, and the reason I reached out to Lojel in the first place is because they make a darn good suitcase, and they're not crazy expensive. So for the money, you get a really solid design. And something that actually works really, really well. I do love the new caster layout. I think the new 2-wheel casters are substantially superior to the single-wheeled units that we have on our old suitcases. This was more expensive mainly, I think, because of the aluminum frame. So they call this the frame because of the aluminum all the way on both sides, which is also why I think it didn't burst. This being a more budget-friendly suitcase, you're not going to get that. Everything is going to be in the polycarbonate, which is nice because this is fully recyclable material, which is great. Then again, so is aluminum. But that said, I would have paid an extra $50 to $100 more if it had a little more robust hinge and outer area here. But for where it's price oriented, where it's sitting in the lineup, and well, the competition against it, I really like it. I really do. I don't know if it's gonna supplant my groove frame, which has just been my tried and true go everywhere suitcase, except for my last 2 trips, which I've taken these Lojel suitcases instead. I can't tell you that I missed this one going out and about, but I just love the feel of this guy. I think the handle is way better on this. So obviously if I didn't have this, now you're going to be talking to if I'm going to go between these two. Because this is the 2 carry-on sizes that Lojel offers. And this is going to depend on how you pack. So I'm not trying to do this as a straight up comparison video, more of just a review video of the Voja, and maybe I will do a true comparison between the two. But the thing about the Voja is you still get that briefcase style. It is fully polycarbonate, and the latch system is really secure. The thing does not want to feel like it's going to blow open on you at all. The casters work extremely well. If that didn't, I mean, I didn't even, I just flicked it, right? The casters are great. And yes, I have not taken this through an airport, but on a week-long trip for work, and it got beat pretty good. Actually, I have several scrapes along the suitcase from it, which that's one thing I think about this one more than anything else is that with the new matte finishes that they're putting on the suitcases, scratches aren't as obvious to see on here. So, all in all, $200 for the carry-on size, $230 for the medium, $260 for the large. Depending on how you pack, I'm a carry-on person. This is the only suitcase that I probably will ever own. Every time I think about getting a medium or a large that has kind of like an overflow suitcase, I decide not to do it because I don't want to check bag, and 2, I don't want to take as much of that stuff with me. More stuff I take with me, the less you know, I guess I got to worry about that stuff in my hotel room, or I've got, well, if nothing else, I got more space to bring stuff back. And I don't want that either. So, that said, the Voja, for what it is, for the cost, I think is fantastic. I really do. I think it's a fantastic suitcase at the cost. If there's one thing that I would say to them, would be I'd like to have, like I said, I do like that aluminum frame on my current one, but then the cost is going to go up. And so it's kind of that, you know, the nice thing about this is it fits in more people's budget. So it's something that you can look. And then I said the other really benefit, and this is something I've pointed out on all the suitcases that I've ever done, they offer this sucker in 6 different colors. And so you can get the exact same suitcase for your entire family, family of 4, family of 6, whichever. And everybody has a different color suitcase, so you know whose is whose without looking at tags, without looking at anything. And I love having a brightly colored or a pretty obvious looking suitcase when I'm traveling. More than anything, if you ever have to put this on a carousel and you check it and they stick it on the carousel at baggage claim, really easy to see, right? You're not going to miss it, and you'll know exactly when it comes out the door, and you'll know if anybody actually grabs it, which has never happened to me, but I love being able to just quickly and easily find it. So, Voja, yeah, Lojel. I want to say thank you very, very much for allowing me to look at your new suitcases, because I was a huge fan of the Lojel line from years ago when I bought all of my families, and the new stuff, pretty solid still. It's awesome. I mean, it works, and I've never had an issue with your stuff. Now they do give you, maybe I should say this as well. When you get it, it does come with some tags on it, right? I did pull this off when I went on my trip. And they do put a 10-year warranty on this. So this book here gives you a QR code that you scan to register your Lojel suitcase. It does have all the information, books, and everything like that on how to set the lock. And maybe that's something we should do real quick before we finish up. Let me show you how to set this lock, because it is a little bit different than the other one that I have. So let's bring it into the lock. So this is the main latch, and obviously you can see the combination lock right here. There's just 3 numbers. Right now it's set at 0 because that's what the combination is. Underneath here, I'm going to have to lift it over here. There is a switch. I don't know how well you can see that. Let me get a little bit better angle, show you the switch real quick. So you see that little switch right there. Right now it's set to the off position. To the left is on. So if I take that little black lever there, I'm sorry about that. And I switch it there. We're on, or to the set. I guess it doesn't say on. It says set or off. So now we're on set. So let's head back to the front and we'll set it. So I right now have it open just for angled purposes so you can see it. I'm going to set it to 1, 2, 3. Now I go back in here. I turn that switch back off to off. And now I'm set to 1, 2, 3. It's that simple. So obviously when you have it latched and you have it off, it's secured. As soon as it's opened up, just like anything else, you can easily set this to another number. You can set this on the go. You don't have to have a paper clip with like most of them. This is just quickly, you know, choose set. Go back over here. Let's go back to 0, 0, 0 like I did earlier. And hit off. And now we're back to 0, 0, 0. Quick and easy. Last thing before we finish, when you do purchase it, depending on where you purchase it from, but it does come in its nice shipped box, right? And the information there, you can see terracotta, stuff like that. And in that box, this is actually protected in its own little felt bag. Now, when I first got my other Lojel suitcase, I actually stored it down here in my basement in this nice felt bag. I don't really do that anymore. Personally, scratches are kind of part of the journey to show you that you've been using your suitcase. So I let it be what it is. But that said, that's how she comes, and that's it. Now, I guess I didn't say that there is a soft close handle here. I didn't show you that, but it is also a soft close, so it's not going to be snapping back on you, right? I do like that. My other one isn't that way. So that is a nice little touch as well. So, Lojel, you're making some good stuff. And the nice thing about it is, both their suitcases, both the Voja as well as the Cubo, way different than other bags on the market today from other companies. So they're not just something that's basically carbon copying what other people are doing. They're thinking outside the box, which is awesome. Which also puts them in the corner that, hey, maybe this fits your thing, maybe it doesn't. Maybe the Cubo fits you better. Something to take a peek at. I'm going to put links. I'll put links to both the Voja as well as the Cubo. I'm going to put a link to my video that I did on the Cubo after I got back from my Las Vegas trip, which is where I took this guy. So I'll put links to this guy as well in the description. If you have any questions, please reach out, comment below, or head over to techgooch.com. You can get a hold of me directly through there. But thank you for sticking to the end here. Thanks for, thanks for watching. And make sure you check out the links of this guy. I'll put both directly to Lojel's website, as well as where you can purchase it yourself. So, any questions from me? Like I said, otherwise, we'll catch you back here on techgooch with another future video. We'll see you soon.